Hey guys, welcome back. It's Pep. You're watching The Sentinel. I'm going to do a series of videos just for a bit of fun about my favourite from my collection only. They have to be from my collection. My favourite fragrances from each decade, starting from the 80s. I do have a couple of fragrances from the 70s, but it's only the two. And so I thought it's probably what I'm going to do is rank my collections from those decades. I'll keep it maybe, at the most 10 fragrances if I've got more than that. So today's one is from the 80s, and I will rank the 8 fragrances I have from the 1980s. Okay, I'm going to get straight into this. At number 8, I have Edition by Dunhill. It's a very green, mossy chypre fragrance. I have a current formulation, and my only beef with this is that as good as it smells, it just has very poor performance, this current formulation. I'm told the original was amazing, and it's just sad that I couldn't get it my nose on that. And this is very cheap though. At the moment I got this bottle very cheap. I'll wear it, but I think if it wasn't so cheap that I could overspray it a bit, I probably wouldn't have bothered. So that's why this is number 8 in my 1980s fragrances. Okay, number 7, I have another reformulated classic fragrance from the 80s. Very popular back then. Apparently this is a shadow of what it used to be, but I actually quite enjoy this. This is Oscar de la Renta's Puig. Leathery, woody, there's florals, and this one I do enjoy, and I've got no issues with this one in terms of performance. I think from what I'm told and I read, it's just lacking in some of the powerhouse accords that were present in the original version. So it probably smells a bit different rather than performs a little bit different. But I'm actually quite pleased with the way this smells, and I'm glad I got a bottle of this. That's Oscar de la Renta's Puig. Okay, coming in at number 6 from the 1980s. I've put this here, and I want to say this is a fantastic fragrance. I think it's one of the best from this house, but I'm only ranking it here, because I don't find it versatile enough to wear a lot. It can seem a bit dated for the older guy, which is what I am. And the ones ahead of it I just find a bit more versatile and better value, to be honest. So I'm talking about, this is my 30ml decant of Bois du Portugal from Tweed. So woody, spicy, just a classic. Sandalwood is magnificent in the dry down here. Like I said, it smells wonderful. I just don't get enough occasions that I want to wear this, and when I do, I'm always happy that I do. I just wish it was probably a bit more versatile. It's beastly performance. I only needed 2 or 3 sprays at the most, and that comes in at number 6. Okay, number 5 is Yves Saint Laurent's Kouros. This is my bottle, one of the last ones with the silver shoulders that was produced. Beautiful take on a fougere fragrance. It has that civet note which gives it a little bit of skankiness, but on my skin it just works beautifully, and I find this quite smooth, great projection, great longevity. It's a love or hate for some people, but I think I'm lucky that I did give this a go, because this actually works really well on my skin. And I guess the lesson there is don't always try something, even if you've been told you have preconceptions. I always give stuff a go just to convince myself that it's either a correct presumption or it actually works on your skin and you love the smell. Number 4 is a recent acquisition, and I probably would never have tried this if it wasn't for my friend Stephen Sproat, who did a great video on this on his channel. It's one of his favorites as well, and I'm glad that he turned me onto this. Again, a current formulation, and that is Quorum by Antaeus Puig. It's green, woody, pine. I think there's leather in there as well, and this current formulation, I have no idea what the vintage was like, but if it was any stronger than this and smelled better, it must have been an amazing fragrance. This is so cheap at the moment where I live, and I believe everywhere else. So if you come across this in your discount store, please give it a go, check it out. That's Antaeus Puig's Quorum. We're here at the top 3 from the 80s, and at number 3, and this might change over time, but at number 3 I currently have Chanel's Antaeus. Lovely woody rose, castoreum, beeswax. Such a great sensual masculine from Chanel. One of, in my opinion, the best Chanel for men. And I'm glad I got a bottle of this. It's still available everywhere, and I think it's quite easily the best men's Chanel that's available. Okay, number 2, this would probably make a lot of people's top 10 all-time lists, as let alone a list from the 80s, and that is Green Irish Tweed from Creed. Nothing really needs to be said about this other than I think, along with Millesime Imperial, Green Irish Tweed is in my top 2 best Creeds. Bois du Portugal is not far behind. So versatile, so classic, so beautifully made, and just smells awesome from opening to dry down as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so number 1 might maybe be a surprise. It is from Christian Dior, and like the Creed Green Irish Tweed, not really much needs to be said about this one. This is original Fahrenheit EDT. This is again the current bottle, but it still smells very much like what I remember the original smelling. You're allowed to disagree with that, but what really matters is my sense memory, and if I'm happy wearing this and it still feels like I'm wearing my original bottle, then that's all that really matters. The reason this to me goes ahead of Green Irish Tweed, it was a close thing, but I think when you, I guess, look at overall, what put Fahrenheit slightly ahead was its uniqueness, and because there are a couple of things that get close to Green Irish Tweed. I haven't smelled anything that gets close to Fahrenheit, and also the price that you can get Fahrenheit comes into it as well. This has so many different flankers, but to me the original in this case will always be the best. So they were my top 8 from the 80s. Maybe I'll do a top 9 from the 90s. I don't know what will happen when I get to the noughties. And I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I want to know your top fragrances from that particular decade in the comments, please, and I'll see you next time.